Thanks so much for joining us today. We're going to show you in this webinar how communicating with prospects and customers can be optimized through journeys using the data that you already have in Insightly. Every interaction should bring your audiences one step closer to the benefits that you have to offer in a way that's engaging and scalable, and you can do that with the Journey Builder in Insightly Marketing. I'm Melinda Prescher, Insightly's Senior Product Marketing Manager. I've got Amy Anderson with us today, the co-founder of Wild Coffee Marketing, and Dan Phillips, Insightly's Senior Technical Account Manager. Amy co-founded Wild Coffee Marketing in 2017. Wild Coffee is a full-service marketing firm based in Florida with a national client roster across financial services, e-commerce, manufacturing, and health and wellness. I'm going to interview Amy later in the webinar about how she and her team use journeys to help their clients achieve their goals. Dan has worked really closely with Amy and her team and has helped many companies build and execute journeys. He'll show you a demo in Insightly Marketing so you can see what the Journey Builder looks like in real time. Amy, do you want to pop in and say a couple words to introduce yourself?
Sure. Thank you so much for having me today. I've been in marketing for 28 years, starting my career in New York in the media business. And the co-founder of Wild Coffee, Solomon Wancier, and I founded the company believing that companies can benefit from outsourced marketing from strategy through to tactics. We have a team of classically trained marketers who work very closely with our clients. And in many cases, we use and manage CRM systems and marketing automation. And they have often run their own departments. So they quickly ramp up with our clients and understanding how to move the business forward. And our model is really based on outsourced all the way through filling gaps that many of our clients may need.
Wonderful. And Dan, I'll have you say a couple words too.
Yeah, my name is Dan. I'm a technical account manager at Insightly, as Melinda mentioned. I've been at Insightly for about 4 years. And a huge focus of my job right now is working with customers to stand up their Insightly marketing instances and help them understand and optimize all their features. I'm really excited to talk to you guys today about the work that my team and I do with customers to facilitate and integrate journeys in their marketing strategies. And I'll be doing that through a demo that I'll be showing to illustrate kind of how we're using journeys to help our customers achieve their goals.
Awesome. All right, let's pop in here. I'm going to share the agenda now. We're going to start with the challenges that we hear most from customers as they identify their marketing and sales goals. Then I'll spend some time explaining the what, the how, and the why of journeys and how that relates to solving customer challenges, and then include a few tips for building great journeys. And then, like I said, Amy and I will have a quick conversation so you can see how Wild Coffee leverages those journeys. And then Dan will do the demo. And then finally, I'll close by speaking to the benefits of Insightly's unified platform, and we'll answer any questions that have come up. And then, of course, if we don't get to your question, we'll follow up with you after the webinar. So let's start drilling down into the challenges that can be solved by journeys. The first is low engagement. In marketing, we talk all the time about the need for timely, relevant communication and tailoring the right message to the right person at just the right time. And that's at the heart of why journeys are so powerful, because they can help you execute on doing exactly that. The next is poor lead quality and insufficient pipeline. If you're not able to nurture prospects and customers with timely, relevant communication, you're just not cutting through the clutter with the conversations that are driving prospects through the pipeline. And as marketers, it's our responsibility to help create high quality leads and really solid pipeline for sales and have just a great collaboration. And finally, journeys solve the perennial challenge that marketers are faced with. How do we reach more people more effectively and reduce time spent on high effort, low value tasks? Journeys can help you streamline and elevate your efforts as a marketing team and provide you with more data that will help you uncover ways to optimize your processes. So what exactly is a journey? It's an automated, mapped out series of steps defining a path with discrete interactions that are triggered as the prospect receives a piece of communication and then moves down the path. Our journey building tool is extremely simple, with a click-based interface that allows you to build multi-step marketing campaigns with up to 200 actions, triggers, checks, branches, and time delays. Customers can be auto-enrolled in journeys based on dynamic criteria to make it easier to get the right information to the right prospect. And based on your needs, an action, trigger, or check can be set to fire up to a year after the journey is started to enhance your nurturing sequences. The more targeted and relevant your journey, the more effective your customer relationships will be, generating more leads, building more pipeline, and creating more loyalty. Marketing journeys are composed of several unique elements that I want to share with you. First is the journey map. That's literally the entire experiential flow that you develop for your target segment, and Dan will bring this to life in the demo. You really should spend time plotting this out on paper before you start to build anything in Insightly. Ask yourself, what are you trying to accomplish? What is your goal? What do you want to share with customers? How much time do you want to take between opening an email and moving to the next step? What marketing content or assets do you want to share with customers at each point in the journey? What actions do you want to drive? Make a solid plan before you start your inputs. Second is the list of customers you'll reach with your journey. Lists can be static, so you can simply load a list into Insightly Marketing, or dynamic. A customer takes an action and then flows into a journey automatically because of that action. For example, like having a conversation with sales and then getting added to a webinar journey. You can also suppress email addresses in case there are customers for whom the journey just isn't relevant. I've highlighted actions, triggers, and checks here because these are the tools that you use to build out the journey in Insightly Marketing. So an action is really an update or a task in the journey, such as sending an email or changing a prospect score, based on what the recipient does in response to receiving an email. Triggers are something that creates an action or a next step, like a prospect opening or clicking through an email. And then a check verifies a prospect's field values before allowing them to move forward in the journey. Examples of checks are whether a prospect viewed a web page, whether a form was submitted, whether a file was downloaded, and what the prospect's grade or score is. Branching is simply what happens as you build your triggers and checks through the journey. For example, a branch in the journey is created when a customer takes an action or doesn't. For example, if someone gets an invitation to attend a webinar and goes to that webinar, attends it, they'll get a thank you email. If they don't attend the webinar, they'll get a sorry we missed you email, 2 branches of the journey. And finally, you'll be able to see reporting that will help you iterate on the content and steps in your journey so that you can make informed decisions about what's working and what's not. Dan will cover that in the demo too. So use cases. These are literally only limited by your own creativity and your business goals. I have a list on the left-hand side of the slide to give you some ideas about the different types of things that you can focus on from a journey perspective. But the important things to consider in all of this is that you not only need great promotional content, offers, and events to drive the sequences in your journeys, to have a reason to communicate with your customers, relevant communication, but you also need to consider how important it is to get the right customer into the right journey. Segmentation is so powerful here, and getting visibility to what prospects and customers are responding to through the flow will allow you to get more information about their needs and preferences so that you can continue to refine your communication and touch points. So that said, we have a couple of tips for you on what creates great customer journeys. And I spoke about this earlier, but I think it really bears repeating. What we recommend to customers is that you really spend the time mapping out your full journey before you start entering anything into Insightly. Make sure you have a plan and then execute the plan in Insightly Marketing, but understand what you want to do, set your goals, and then go in and do it. Next, you really want to test your methodology cross-functionally with input from sales, CSM, support, and voice of the customer interviews. Make sure that you're getting insights from other teams who are interacting with customers. So you really make sure that you're speaking to the right customer with the right voice and the right communication and the right offers. Make sure your data is clean so that you're confident in your segmentation. Do a thorough assessment of the content that you have and the content that you need to appeal to your segments. You'll be looking for anything like offers, ebooks, blogs, webinars, customer spotlights, welcome material, how-tos, or anything else that you think is relevant for your business to engage your segments. And then test and learn. Lean into updating your journeys based on the data that you're getting on customer response through the journey. So I'm going to transition now to our conversation with Amy, co-founder of Wild Coffee Marketing, who we introduced at the top of the webinar. Amy, thanks so much for joining us. Tell us a little bit more about you and Wild Coffee Marketing, the company that you founded 3 years ago.
Well, as I mentioned at the top, I've spent my entire career in marketing in the last 3 years working with companies in an outsourced marketing model environment. And managing data is a really big part of that for us. So working with Insightly, we've been standing up CRMs and marketing automation platforms to really sort of help them nurture their customers through the journey. And we've had a lot of success doing that so far.
That is great. How did you hear about Insightly?
We actually work with multiple CRMs from Salesforce in larger enterprise environments, all the way down through Zoho and other smaller sort of startup environments. And Insightly has been a perfect fit for our middle market clients. And there are a couple of reasons for that. One is it offers a full set of functionality with a unified platform between CRM and marketing. Has a modern interface that we really find easy to use, and our clients do as well. And it's at a price point that really works in a sweet spot for those middle market clients. So we end up recommending it repeatedly. Also, the marketing journeys feature has been useful for our clients to solve some of the problems that you mentioned above. Delivering the right message to the right audience at the right time, generating more leads, higher quality leads, and building sales pipeline. And really, super importantly, has been reducing the need for manual prospecting for the sales and business development teams of our clients.
All really good. We would love to dive now into a couple of examples of the ways that you're using journeys so people can get more insights and information based on your experience.
Absolutely. As a team, our focus is always on data-driven decision-making. And Insightly Marketing has really helped us help our sales clients prioritize prospects and leads, and really, as I mentioned, reduce manual prospecting that they were doing previously. We have a financial services client that has built their pipeline by 10-fold this year. That was supported by a new product introduction, but we stood up their CRM and implemented journeys about 4 to 5 months ago. What it's done is really help them prioritize prospects while reducing the need for manual outreach. So the marketing journeys actually help do that for them. In first quarter 2021, we're going to start introducing lead scoring to help them further prioritize and bubble up those prospects that are most interested and likely to convert for them. And really, overall, we've adopted a crawl, walk, run strategy. And it's really to start simple. These journeys don't have to be complex. You can build, learn from what you build, and then build new flows into them. One example is really a simple strategy we deployed, which was a set of targeted communications. It was in the form of 7 weekly emails. They were text-based, so they weren't sort of the high-gloss corporate designed emails we were doing, super conversational, and were really just meant as follow-up for a lot of their prospects. And from there, we gathered learnings and we built additional flows. So if, for example, a prospect is engaged, they're opening emails and showing interest, we can send them much more targeted communication about pricing and rates. And if a prospect isn't engaged, we can put them in a less frequent cadence that really just talks about sort of corporate business value. We're also taking advantage of the landing pages within Insightly Marketing. So prospects can click a link and schedule time or make an appointment with business development team. And we're going to be introducing gated content so they can actually complete a form and then put those leads at the top of the funnel for the sales team. And two more features we're going to start taking advantage of is more A/B and multivariate testing to really gather learnings to put into more Insightly flows and help us make creative and strategic decisions based on those. And we're actually introducing a set of triggers. So if, for example, a prospect opens an email, we can set a task for a business development person to go ahead and follow up with them. So it's really creating more alignment between the sales function and the business sales and business development and marketing, and creating tasks and further helping them prioritize their prospects.
Great. What are your plans for future growth with Insightly?
Well, we love the tool for our mid-market clients. It really sort of hits a sweet spot for us there. And since we work closely with our clients to really guide them in their marketing strategies, this is sort of a major tool that we use for them for CRM and marketing. I know that we'll continue to adopt sort of the crawl, walk, run strategy, which is to sort of stand up the CRM, get the journey started, develop learnings, and then build additional flows from that. And we're really finding so many use cases for our clients, from promoting new products, educating, onboarding new clients, and really developing nurturing sequences. And we continue to learn with each journey that we deploy.
Great. What do you think is the best thing that Insightly is doing to help you help your clients succeed?
Well, I'd like to point out a couple of things here. I mean, first really is the unified platform and the interplay between the CRM and marketing side. We know that we can deliver more sales qualified leads when we have that alignment between two sides. And it's the platform that's really helped us do that. And the second, and not just because Dan is on this call, but our customer success team has been really integral in guiding us for specific clients and scenarios. The fact that they work with the Insightly team is really important to us. They're intimately familiar with the platform, and they've even taken development requests and feature requests that we have back to the development team, which has been really powerful for us.
Fantastic. And any last words of support, guidance, recommendations for people listening?
Sure. I would just say to get started with an initial journey or initial set of journeys, and you can really keep them simple. And, as marketers, we know that a lot of what we do is iterative, to really fire up your marketing and sales strategy and then build on learnings from that is critical. And then, you can just build on what you started and continue to learn.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Amy. I really appreciate this. Sharing your experience and your firm's experience with journeys is just really valuable for us to tell the story around how journeys can really help customers refine their marketing strategies. So now I am going to stop sharing my slides and I'll transition over to Dan, our senior technical account manager, and he'll show you a journey that's based on a sequence that's actually built around inviting customers to a webinar.
Thank you so much, Melinda. Let me go ahead and get my screen shared here real quick. And as Melinda mentioned, I work with a lot of our clients on our marketing product. I've seen a breadth of different journey use cases from industry to industry. So to start, rather than to focus on something complex, I want to just take a look at the basic setup of a journey with you guys so you can have a better understanding of how the nuts and bolts of the system work. One thing that's been coming up a lot in the chat here is how do I access journeys? It does require that you have access to Insightly Marketing. So if you are interested in Insightly Marketing, it's a different product from the CRM. It is a companion product. We highly recommend you reach out to our sales team. They'd be more than happy to speak with you about getting that onto your account. When I'm creating a journey, one of the things I'm going to be doing is naming it, obviously, giving a description for it. I can also select different lists to apply to the journey. And I can select as many lists as I want. These are people who are in my prospect list, different people that I'm attempting to market to. And these are also people who might be on multiple lists, right? I might have the same person in both these lists. You can rest assured that Insightly is only going to email them one time, even if they're on multiple lists that are applied to the same journey. Additionally, I can apply suppression lists. So I can say, I want everybody from both of these lists, but if they're also on this third list, I don't want them to be a part of this journey. That's fine too. We have repeating ability here. So we can say, People can go through this list multiple times if we want to. This allows you to create evergreen lists for different processes. I've seen journeys set up as ways to confirm different meeting times and dates. So it can be really useful there. You can do that an unlimited number of times. And then finally here, we have just this simple option of what business hours do I want to send this during? So I can select different time zones and it'll automatically adjust for that time zone, or I can select a specific range within the time zone that I'm currently on. But moving into the journey itself, what you can do here, you see I have this plus button. If I click on this plus button, it's going to go ahead and give me the option to add an action, a trigger, or a check. Actions will create different paths on the same branch, and then triggers and checks will split the branch into multiple paths based on how they react to that trigger or check. So for example here, I might say I want, when we start this journey up, I want people to instantly get an email, and then I want to see if they clicked on a specific link in that email. So I'm going to add a trigger to see if they clicked on a link. I'm going to say wait up to a maximum of, let's say, 3 days for them to click that link. And then if they did click that link, I can proceed down into other actions and other checks. Some of these include things like checking to see if they filled out one of our web forms, checking to see if they clicked other links and other emails, what their current prospect grade is, how well they've been engaging with us through their prospect score, whether or not they even viewed a specific page of our website. We even can use this with our Zoom integration to deal with Zoom webinar attendance and registration. So checking to see whether or not they attended, checking to see whether or not they registered. And that's what my larger journey is going to be looking at. When you're happy with your journey, all you have to do is go up to actions, hit run journey, and that's going to start that journey up for everybody on your list. So now let's take a look at something a little bit more fully featured. This is obviously just me kind of showing you how things work, but we actually set up an example journey and ran it so you can see kind of how this looks in practice. And we use the webinar example since we're in a webinar, thought it was appropriate. So you can kind of see what a full journey might look like. And the goal of this journey is to try and get people to register for webinars. And then if they registered, double check and see if they actually attended. If they attended, great, we're going to follow up, get a lead created for our sales team to reach out to them. If they didn't attend, we still want to follow up with them, but we're going to do that in different ways depending on their behavior. So if we zoom back in here right at the start of this journey, you can see the first thing we're doing is just sending an email out. This is an introduction email trying to get them to register for the webinar. We're waiting to see, did they open that email? If they did, then I'm going to see, okay, they opened the email after an hour after that open. Did they click that link? Did they register for the actual webinar? If they did, great. I'm just going to go ahead and send them a thank you for registering email. I'm going to adjust their prospect score to show that additional engagement. And then I'm going to wait until after the webinar is complete and see if they attended. If they attended, fantastic. I'm going to send them a thank you email. It's going to have the recording link in it. I get to automate that follow-up. I'm going to increase their score once more so that we can show again in our marketing system, these people are engaging with our product. These people are engaging with us. And then I'm going to go ahead and convert them instantly over into a lead, which in this case I've assigned to me just to prevent my sales team from being upset with me. If they didn't attend, we have a second follow-up. This is a sorry we missed you, a kind of apology, hopefully trying to keep that engagement, keep that conversation going. And we're adding them to a specific list here, the warm nurture list. So in this case, they've engaged, but we couldn't get them to go all the way. I'm going to market to them differently than somebody who didn't engage at all. And looking back at that path here on the left-hand side, you can see we actually have that as well in here. So if they didn't open that email, then we actually have a different email going to them to try and re-engage them again. If they didn't register after that final attempt, I'm going to add them to our cold nurture list. And this just makes sure that, again, we can customize the way that we're marketing to people based on how they're actually interacting with us on an automated basis. Remember that once I set this to run, I don't have to touch this again. This is happening in the way that I designed it, helping me kind of take that process and take it away from manual entry. At every stage, I'm doing something that would have had to be manually entered by an individual, downloading the Zoom registrant list, comparing the registrants against the list that I'm marketing to, sending emails and updating their scores, and making them fully automated, freeing up time for myself and my team so that we can focus on higher value tasks and learning instead of on admin work. Furthermore, I can pause this journey at any time and make changes to it. So if I have people going through this list and go, oh, actually, I wanted to update their score here to 15, you can pause the journey, make that change. And when I restart the journey, anybody who hasn't made it to that step is going to get that altered version of the journey. Anybody who's obviously moved past it already, it's a little too late, but this does give you flexibility so that you can continue to work on this. Additionally, in something like this, a webinar that I might be having all the time, I don't have to recreate this from scratch every time. We have the ability to clone. So once this webinar is complete, I can clone the journey, update some of the webinar information, and reuse it over and over, which just continues to save me and my team plenty of time without having to start from scratch again and again and again. But how can I tell if this journey is successful? Well, we actually have a fantastic little reporting tool in here. So if we go into the actual journey report, you can see that every single step of the journey has its own report about who made it to that stage and what happened to them. And I can click on each individual step to get access to reports that will show me exactly who made it there, exactly how they interacted, and all of the details about how they interacted with that email itself or that stage itself as needed. So now I'm going to hand this back to Melinda, but hopefully this showcases the value that a great journey can bring to your team and provides a solid foundation for you guys to start building your own journeys in your account.
Dan, thank you so much for that. I want to talk a little bit more about the unified data platform. And we believe this is a key differentiator for us in that all of your customer data is in one place, one platform, and flows naturally between marketing and sales. So you have a single unified view of your customers. It sounds simple, but it's the reason why Insightly is so unique. It allows your customer-facing teams, marketing, sales, delivery, to always stay aligned as your customer relationships and touchpoints evolve. And as I'm sure you know from experience, as marketing teams start to engage with prospects, you have limited information about the needs of those prospects. As you start those interactions and see what your prospects respond to and engage with, you get more information into the hands of the sales team so that they're equipped to have more insightful, relevant conversations that deliver better experiences to your prospects and leads. This will help your sales team speak to the value of your company, driving more pipeline, higher conversion, and actually better sales velocity. And once sales closes the deal, the delivery team benefits from all the information gathered through the marketing and sales cycle and the ability to kick off projects effectively and track projects through to completion. The unified platform allows you to align your teams, streamline your processes, and deliver on great experiences through the power of your data. So we do have a couple of minutes left, it looks like. Dan, I think you may have been answering questions through the webinar. There are quite a few. Are there any other that you see there that, that you can get to before we close this out?
Yeah, it looks like we have a question from, oh no, where did they go? They got pushed down my list. I'm so sorry. We had a question for Amy, if you wanted to expand upon kind of the specifics of what you do for your clients.
Well, we work as an outsourced team, so we really start first from a strategy perspective, sort of analyzing where a company is in their business life cycle and what are the needs of their team. So we do everything from marketing strategy with an emphasis sort of on digital, looking at the 360-degree view of their customer, where are areas of opportunity, and then we'll actually build out plans. And from there, some of our clients have internal marketing teams already that they use to execute on those plans, or we will actually have our consulting team serve as a fully outsourced team. So it may be everything from, as we're seeing here, CRM and marketing automation through SEO, digital, paid, social.
Fantastic.
Great, thank you. I have somebody asking, can you create and edit paths in bulk or is it done individually? Currently, it is done individually. So you would create and edit each path individually at this moment in time. But that's something that we're open to introducing later in the future, potentially.
Dan, it looks like we're at 9:30 Pacific right now. I'm sure there are more questions. I think I saw maybe 20 or so. We will definitely end up following up with those of you who had questions who didn't get them answered. And bottom line, our team would love to learn more about how we can help you reach your objectives and create impact. So again, don't hesitate to reach out and get in touch with us to kick off that conversation. And then also, if you had questions, we'll get back to you. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks, everybody.